As we're seeing car loan delinquencies go up, we're certainly seeing credit card delinquencies go up. What are we seeing in the housing market? I'm going to go over that today next. That article, and yes, you got it. I'm going right back to the Kobesi letter on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go over some of the most damning markets that you're in right now, things that are going down. We're going to go over that. And you know what? What does I'll call it a delinquent or inactive meth lab go for today? We're going to find out what that's going to go for all today on Real Estate Daily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Now, before we jump in, do me a favor. Hit that like button, because there's no one out there that's going to be talking about an inactive meth lab and what it's going for. Now, before we jump into it, hit the pause button, because no one else is going to tell you to do this. Tell me what you think an inactive meth lab is going to go for. And all I know is that as everyone's talking about a housing crash, how much did it go down in price, or did it even go up in price? All right, let's jump right into it. Okay, right here, Kobesi letter today says current state of the housing market. And this is just, I'm going to lead with some comedy here because this is ridiculous. An inactive meth lab was just listed for $1.55 million in San Jose, California. For nearly 1.6, you can buy a home that was effectively a tear down with a built-in meth lab. Now think about that. The worst part, they just raised the price, $125,000. You can't make this up. So before I jump into the meth lab here, why would someone raise it $125,000? Well, when you have multiple offers on the property and you don't want to keep taking phone calls, what agents do is they raise the price. They go, okay, guys, I'm going to go over the bar, so you need to go over 1.625. This is crazy. So we see a picture of it right here. Let's go jump this up a little bit. Here's a picture of it right here. Went up. Price increase of $125,000. It actually says in it that it's an inactive meth lab. Wow. A teardown, 1.5. This just shows you that certain areas of the country are still red hot and on fire, and even a teardown can bring in huge money. All right, before we jump into the next article, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get this channel up. We're continually growing. Let's keep growing it. Now, this is from DS News. It's a September delinquency rate experiences year-over-year rise. So we're seeing it. Sorry, I did gotta move it over just a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit of movement now in delinquencies. Now, I'm telling you that, with the car loans as well as credit card delinquencies, they're being a lot more tolerant of those. And especially on the housing side. I know the state of California and the federal government have changed their rules. State of California, you're looking, if you're getting behind on your payments and you're having a traditional loan, conventional FHA, you go to your lender or whoever's billing you every single month and you ask for a forbearance, and then you start working out a forbearance. A forbearance is when you can actually hold off payments due to some kind of extraordinary event in life, lose your job, somebody passes away, whatever income that was coming in doesn't happen. As long as you can fill it out and they approve it. That was happening during the flu, right? Happened a lot then, but they're still having it go on now. Now they want I know the state of California has implemented certain things, including meeting face-to-face with the lender, talking it out, what needs to be done to get you back active and ready to make those payments again. So if there's a path to the way back into home ownership payment and making it active again, fantastic. If there is none, well, then there's many options, including selling your home, and pulling the equity out of that house, because that's very, very important. Unfortunately, that is some people's options at this point. Entry level properties are red hot right now still, even though it's 8% interest rates, which we're going to go over in a minute because they just dropped yesterday pretty dramatically. But we're going to go over that. But yes, that is delinquencies. And let's go read this. It says, according to Intercontinental Exchange, formerly Black Knight, the national delinquency rate rose 3.29%. It says, despite all the delinquencies, the delinquency rate is still 71 points below September 2019 before COVID 19, right? Loans were at least 30 days overdue, raised by 5.1%. So we're still seeing it way below the traditional markets, not this crazy market that happened in March of 2020. But we're still seeing just a delinquency rate is still down from just even traditional markets. And again, one of the issues is that people can sell their homes, grab their equity, and then get comfortable, maybe being a rental or moving out of state, or moving somewhere where it's way more affordable than here in Southern California or in other parts of the United States where they're just not affordable. All right, we're going to jump in the Kobesi letter. What is the fastest declining U.S. markets? 1 year drop, or Austin, Texas. Very hot market in the past. Austin, Texas is down 11%. Boise's down 8%. Looks like Louisiana got slaughtered here, about 8% off of New Orleans and Lake Charles. Phoenix, Las Vegas, Provo, Reno, Chino, San Jose. And it's interesting what they say here. It says many of these markets are heavily investor driven over the past few years. According to the latest data, investor home purchases are down nearly 50%. All as tons of Airbnb properties in major cities are hitting the market. The return of supply would break the market. Absolutely would. This is what happens when investors jump in and they say, hey, I have some discretionary income on the sidelines. I want to put it to work. Well, where do I work it? Well, I'm going to go to Airbnb, because everybody in the last 2-3 years was receiving these big, enormous, weekly, daily amounts coming in. Sometimes you'd be seasonal and your season would be making a huge profit for you as an entire year. Today, that isn't true. And the less discretionary income that people have that they can actually, fly around, or they can go on vacations with, or move around, well, they're going to go to cheaper hotel rooms that have this more comfortable house living in, or, bigger with pools and everything. So with that being said, these areas are becoming, these states and these cities are pretty heavily Airbnb. So that's what we're seeing out there. Just a FYI, it's not the time to invest in this. If you're an owner-occ, this is not financial advice. If I'm owner-occ and I have money on the sidelines, what I would have to do is go look for a deal, or would look for multifamily where I can put Section 8 in there. And then Section 8 would be guaranteeing paying my monthly payment, my mortgage payment, my insurance, as well as property tax. That's the safest way. This is more of a gamble. This paid off for a lot of people. They made $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, and they paid down a little bit of their mortgage. But if the market then drops, then you're looking at this nightmare that's happening, and it just accelerates in these markets and hurts property values. All right, guys, we're jumping into the interest rates here. Pretty much flat, 7.8. This was at 8%, just at the end of last week. Now it's at 7.78. But what was impressive is a big drop in FHA. We're under 7.5 right now. So now, as the media now isn't up to date on rates, they're up to date on the bond market. The bond market, the 10-year note, which is pretty much locks into all these interest rates, it has dropped dramatically. It kept bouncing its head off of 5%, and now it's down to 4.85, and it kind of, I think, dropped a little more today. So we're seeing rates go down. I think that, the flight to bonds as a safety measure was good, but I think people, there's going to be a certain point of burnout where they keep putting money in bonds, and the bond market will keep going up, but inflation in their households, they know it just isn't 3 or 4%, which the government continues to tell you. They know it's more like 40%, or since 2021, it's 100%. Everything's doubled. The only thing that hasn't doubled is if you own a home, you have that steady house payment. But I know, my electric bills, my utility bills have gone up dramatically. We know gas prices in the 5.5, 6s. We know that's doubled. Food has doubled. So, insurances have doubled. So don't tell me it hasn't gone up 100%. When this 3% bullshit that comes out, with the CPI, it's just BS. I mean, it's complete BS. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. It's just a bunch of crap. And if you guys have any questions or you want to make any comments, please leave them below. I'm more than happy to respond to them. But you guys, I will be back tomorrow with another edition of Real Estate Daily. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow.